I also think it's imperative that we address what actually happened in the Senate hearing the other day with Senator Sheehy and Brian McGinnis, and why that
Traitor.
was. It not only was it tragic, but we're friendly with Medea Benjamin. And as far as anybody who's on the left who truly walks the walk when it comes to an anti-war movement, she leads it with Code Pink. So when she gets dragged out, it's not a big deal. And they usher her out very softly, if you will. And a lot of people get ushered out. But when you see somebody in his Marine uniform stand in front of that panel and say, we're not going to war for Israel, they didn't just drag him out. They tried, if they could have physically beat him to death without there being cameras around, they probably would have done it. They cannot afford to have anyone who looks like him in that uniform saying, we're not going to war for Israel, because that gets people who put on the uniform to think about it.
You know that nobody's heard from him. His family hasn't heard from him. His court-appointed attorney, his private attorney.
Just today. He was just released today, this afternoon.
Okay. Well, up until then, these people didn't even allow him to talk to his family or his attorneys while they kept him detained.
Of course. Listen, I will say, if you want, I will be more than happy to send you after the show. I'll send you his email if you want to interview him. We're trying to get this message out.
That guy's a hero. That guy is a hero. I would love to talk to him, of course. Yes. That guy is a hero, and Sheehy is a traitor. Lindsey Graham is a traitor who went and sat down and met with Benjamin Netanyahu and the intel apparatus of Israel to pull off a psyop on the American president and the commander-in-chief, or at least the guy who's been chosen as the actor to play that role. These people are traitors. They are treasonous traitors. Randy Fine is on video on the House floor voting for a bunch of other people, subverting the political process of our country on video, and there is not one federally elected senator or congressman saying a damn thing about it.
We need a Steele dossier on Randy Fine. We need to know what the hell that guy's into, because he's got to be in deep. Whatever he's into, he's in deep. And
but these people are protected. There is a two-tier system. This is about supremacy.
Absolutely.
Everything that you're seeing here is about supremacy. Did you see what Dan Bilzerian recently said? He'll put on a uniform and he'll go fight.
It's funny you brought that up, because that was the impetus for wanting to have you and understanding why this is going to boil over. So this is what Dan Bilzerian said with Sneako, I believe it's like 1 or 2 nights ago.
Honestly, the only real battle in the world today that I see worth fighting is fucking, exterminating Israel. I mean, I would sign up tomorrow and go fucking put boots on the ground and go fucking kill Israelis. That would be a great day for me.
So I think it is important to understand that when you say these things, you are, while on one hand saying what I think a lot of people feel because they're tired of what Israel has done to this country and what they have been doing, but at the same time, this is exactly what the Zios want to hear. This is what they want for cannon fodder. This is what they want to use to say, you see, he's really just an anti-Jewish guy who wants to kill Jews. And that, of course,
might be true, but I know Dan, and what Dan is saying is not for clicks. There's no upside for him to say these things. He was kicked off the board of his own $150 million company, or maybe even more than that, Ignite, by his own board. They kicked him off of his company as the CEO. There is no upside for a guy like that. If you want to talk about a guy that had it made, Candace, Tucker, Dan, Jake Shields, the Hodge twins, these are people who did not need to say this and could have just gone on status quo. I'm going to stay out of it. Self-preservation. They didn't do that. And what Dan is saying, that's actually the way that Dan feels. He's not saying this as some sort of a shock thing. Like, I know Dan. I don't know him like super. We're not best friends, but we talk. Matter of fact, I just texted him today and we talk, and I spent a considerable amount of time with him. He was in Occupied. We were on a plane together. He brought me back to Minnesota on his plane. We've spent time together. Dan is genuinely 100% concerned for the future of our country and knows what causes most of that concern. And this is just him saying this. He really means that. He probably really would put on a uniform, or maybe not even a uniform. He probably just would go there armed and do what he said he was going to do. And you see Sneako's reaction. Sneako knows, everybody knows. And that might be uncomfortable for a lot of people to hear, like, whoa, that's crossing, into a whole new level. But there is a period of time that people go through, and I know this at least because raw human emotion actually exists. And you saw a lot of that from me over the last, especially since October 7th. There was about a year and a half there where, people that I love were like, dude, are you okay? People who love me are like, are you going to be good? I know that this is really weighing on you. This is really stressing you out. I can see it. I can see it on your show. I can see it in your tweets. I can read it in your, in your Substack. I can see the things that you're saying. This is like, it's really angering you. Yes, I argue with my Lord and Savior about my anger because I know that I'm not supposed to be angry about this. But I think that there is a genuine anger with people that are looking around at their own personal lives because so many people are able to just push this thing away until it reaches their doorstep.
Yes.
But the plight of the American people can easily be traced back almost singularly every single time to the Rothschild central banksters. It can be traced back to the Rothschild-housed private equity firms. It can be traced back to the billionaire donor class. It can be traced back to Israel. 100% of the time, the plight that Americans are going through, no matter what it is, if it's economic, discomfort or complete economic ruins, if it's your business being shut down, if it's you being fired from your job, if there's something going on at your kid's school that you don't like with the curriculum, sexualizing children, if it's something that's on the bookshelves in the library. I interviewed a kid, I think it's probably been about 4 years now. He was a 6th grader at the time, and I think his name was Max. And he came on my show with his dad because he had gone viral on Instagram for having gone before his school board. And all he did was he took a book and he said, this was in my school library and I just want to read it to the school board. And he opens it up and he's saying something along the lines of, and then there we were, and it was my first time, and I was licking his dick, and he was fucking my ass, and we were sucking and fucking, and he was telling me, and this was on a 6th grade middle school bookshelf. And not only that, but in the story that he told, it wasn't just an isolated incident with that book. Then the librarian said, oh, you like these types of materials. I have more of them for you. And then started pushing them on this kid as he would return to the library. And so this kid started bringing these home to his dad. Hey, Dad, look what the librarian is pushing on me.
It's the loss of innocence.
It is the murder of childhood innocence.
And when I talk about, because again, I'm not a conservative, but I have conservative leanings on certain things. Like we should be conservative about our children. Like this is crazy. And
you would think that would be a hill that everybody could die on. Put your political
ideologies
aside.
Yeah, but Stu, you know this. That's not what politics is designed to be today. Everything is about how can I divide and conquer. Dividing and conquering is a huge problem.
Well, I think we can all agree that the two-party system is dead. That's a fallacy. Yeah. Nobody believes that anymore. Nobody believes that we're voting our way out of this. You're not going to go vote harder. You're not going to be like, owning the libs or, affecting regime change by popular vote or by electoral vote in this country. You don't have a say. In the current system of American politics, you do not have a say in the political future of your country. What you say does not matter. And if you say the wrong thing in the wrong place, if you were a person who volunteered to go fight and kill and die for the constitutional rights and individual liberties that you are supposed to have, God-given in this country, and you put on that military uniform and you go petition your government to redress your grievances, you will have your ass kicked and your arm broken. You'll be put into a gulag and charged with a crime, or be investigated by Ron DeSantis' new task force, or be spied on by Accusations or by Unit 8200 from the Israeli IDF, and you will be censored, you will be targeted, you'll have the feds showing up at your door to just ask questions, and you are being put on a list. And the AI super surveillance state will find you no matter where you are. And I don't think that there are enough robots yet. I don't think that there's enough of them yet, but there soon will be. Yes. But I do believe that we have an American military right now that will take orders to fire on Americans. They are firing on school children and blowing up schools. They are about to put their boots on the ground in Iran, where there is no stated objective, where there is no benchmark for success, where it has been openly stated by this administration and the commanders of the military that they are running this operation at the behest of Israel. You are not serving your country. You are not making us safer. This does not bolster our national security interests. You're not making us more rich or prosperous. The economic interests here are way upside down. Trillions and trillions of dollars in these forever wars to be siphoned through the military-industrial complex and right back into the pockets of Raytheon's, biggest power bottom, Lindsey Graham, and the other fat cats in the DC Beltway. That's what this is all about. It's a racket. It's a deadly racket. And they see us as a vessel. They see our country as a vassal state. They see our country as an economic zone. They see our people as inconvenient. They see people like me as dissidents. And as Project Esther says, 34 pages written by the Heritage Foundation, the so-called conservative think tank, and adopted, by the way, by the president, which is why we are on the trajectory that we're on. The timeline is all laid out here to put you into a classification as a terrorist. And so when you are critical of Israel, that means, according to Project Esther's definition and according to the working definition of anti-Semitism, it classifies you as a pro-Hamas individual or a pro-Hamas network or organization. By extension, that makes you a terrorist. And if you are a terrorist deemed so by the government, then the government has given itself the permission slip that it needs to kill you because it will treat you as an enemy combatant. This isn't hard. That is what is coming. The people that we are dealing with will kill you, as proven by Charlie Kirk, as proven by anybody who has gotten in the way. And the same people likely were responsible for JFK. The same people likely have been responsible for a lot of the big events that we talk about here. And I want everybody to be prepared for something that is incredibly catastrophic to happen here. We have already seen these people have activated their so-called radical Islamists that are on board these planes. And if there was terror threats on planes again, where have we seen that before? It's all right out of the same movie. It's the same script every single time.